I've seen a recurring question that I'm going to try to help with that happens, issue that people are having with their vehicle. Are you having an issue with starting your car starting? Are you having battery issues? We'll try to answer that question. And, you know, since I have some knowledge there. So anyways, we'll get our walk done and then we'll get down to it. Phew. They say opposites attract. Man, I'll tell you what, it's not cold enough for him, and it is way too cold for me. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you very much. Appreciate it very much. It helps way more than you can understand. But let's get down to it. First of all, are you having issues, car issues, you know, automotive issues? Is your car not starting correctly? Battery issues? I'm saying this because, you know, yours isn't necessarily exactly like this, but I want to tell you where to start looking, first of all. Now, it is likely that, as in many times, it is likely that
Stop.
You maybe just need a battery replaced, right? If your batteries should last normally at least 5 years, right? And if it's getting over 5 years old, depending on the brand, 5 to 7 years, you should be considering replacing it. Number 2, check your terminals where your battery wires connect to your battery. Check those for corrosion. Okay, that should be a given. Some of these things should be a given. But I say this, you know, and I get to this because we've had I've helped several people fix their vehicles now, and I've seen this happen several times. And they'll get on there, and a lot of times they'll get on like social media or something and post looking for help. You know, oh, I did this or that, and this is what's going on, and I can't get nobody to fix it. I can't get it fixed, or can't get it figured out. And you know, I see it a lot. And the thing is, I've had a few people I know now, you know, and you get other people that chime in on there. You know, I understand, you know, you would like to, maybe you think you know a little bit about it or whatever, but all of a sudden you got people saying, oh, you know, first of all, replace the battery. Oh, I already did that. Okay, well, replace the alternator. You know, now you got people giving a bunch of advice about stuff they don't truly know enough about, right? You know, I mean, sometimes that's the case and you get away with it, so you think you know what you're doing. But the more likely cause is a loose battery cable. Okay, so if you're especially, and this happens any season, but especially in the wintertime, it's known to happen a little bit more. Maybe the battery gets a little bit weak. Maybe you jump it over or whatever, but you don't realize that the cables have come loose. Well, you replace the battery, you now got a new, fresh running battery in there, and you know, so it starts up real good, even though the connection was loose. But after 1 or 2 times of doing that, now that connection is arced, right? And when it does that, it jumps around. You know, you can't really see it, but it's enough that there's enough to break the connection. Okay, and most of the time it's the ground wire. Not always, but I'm just trying to give help out with that, right? Most of the time it's a ground wire, the ground cable, but not always, right? It could also be some other connection issues, right? Check your grounding all through the vehicle, you know, where it connects to the battery. and then also connects to the frame or the body of the vehicle, right? And check, you know, fuses, of course. But look, if you got a car that here's the most common thing they're saying. I replaced the battery. I've seen this several times now. I replaced the battery, and I went to get in it to go. I had lights, everything lit up. I hit the key, and nothing happens, and now I don't have nothing. And now I don't have no lights. And I had somebody bring me their vehicle that 3 different people looked at it. One replaced the battery, one replaced the alternator, and when it was all said and done, I replaced a battery connector. And that fixed it. Hold on. So anyways, and so I've repaired some people's vehicles with a simple battery connector replacement on 2 different ones, and then I had another one here recently that all I had to do was tighten it up. Somebody recently replaced the battery. Sometimes you're doing, and certain vehicles, it's hard to get to that, and it feels like it's getting tightened up. And it feels like it's all tight and stuff. You gotta sometimes get into it and make sure it ain't gonna move, and make sure it's tight. A loose connection, and sometimes you can't tell it's loose, right? Check your connections, check your battery terminals, okay? The one that I did, it had the original terminal on it where it goes around the battery post, and the one little piece was just broke. It had 2 metal strands that goes around that post. Well, the one was broke, and that's all it took was enough to make that loose enough to, when you go to, the problem is, when you go to hit your starter, it pulls it takes a big draw off that battery, and once that does that, it causes an arc through the loose connection, whichever connection's loose. And as I said, most of the time that I find, it's most of the time the negative connection, but not always. Anyways, hopefully that helps some people. Don't go replacing a bunch of stuff until you know for sure that's what you need, because like I said, tightening your battery cable or just replacing a connector, both of those are far, far cheaper than a battery or an alternator, right? But sometimes it is the battery, right? Sometimes it is the alternator. But you got to take into account how the thing is. When you describe to me that, you just recently replaced your battery, and because the common thinking is, well, you replace your battery, now you're having problems again, it's got to be the alternator, it ain't charging right. That's not always. Sometimes it ain't charging right because of a loose connection, and sometimes it is charging right, but the loose connection, as soon as you go to start it, it's just loose enough that it kills the connection. Okay, so always check that stuff first, but because that stuff's far cheaper than getting all this other stuff replaced. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep all of his commandments, for that is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every work into judgment, with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. See ya.